Hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar. Today's session is on Edition Based Redefinition. Thank you for hanging around for those of you who joined in early. I hope you had a chance to check out some of the upcoming webinars that we've got. We've got the next two on the screen here. As you can see, the next one is on February the 27th. It's been presented by Doug Burns and it's on Oracle SQL monitoring. And then on March the 27th, we've got another session by Kelly and Vaughan, which is on how to become friends with developers and stop making DBA stand for don't bother asking. I'm sure that'll be a great session, as always, from Kelly. As always, you can find out about these webinars and get access to the recordings of past webinars at redgate.com/oracle-webinars. Please do share what you learned today with the community. If you're on Twitter, you could, a couple of links up here that you can use at All Things Oracle, which is my Twitter account, at Redgate, at Patch72, which is Patrick Barel's Twitter account. He'll be the main presenter for today. Please also use hashtag Oracle and hashtag Redgate. Of course, do share this through other networks as well. So, as I just mentioned, today's main presenter is Patrick Barel. He's an Oracle ace, a pure SQL developer at MS Services. They also co-developed CodeGen. I'm sure Patrick will tell you a little bit more about himself when he comes online to do the main presentation. As always, I'm James Mercer. I'm the creator and editor of allthingsoracle.com. Please do check the website out. I tweet from at allthingsoracle. And I'm a product marketing manager at Redgate Software. Today's webinar is brought to you by the Deployment Suite for Oracle and Redgate. So a few points, as always, before we start. Everybody will be on mute for the duration of the event. If at any time you can't hear me or you can't hear Patrick, please do let us know. Those of you who have attended these sessions regularly may have come across a few technical issues that we've had with the sound. It's a live presentation as always, so I do apologise if anything does go wrong in advance. There will be a Q&A session at the end, but please feel free to type your questions in the questions box in advance. We won't answer them until the end of the session, but as Patrick goes through certain points and goes along with the presentation, if there's bits that you'd like him to explain afterwards, please do jot it down as you go along. But as I said, the Q&A will be at the end of the webinar. This session is being recorded, and a recording of the full webinar will be put up online at redgate.com within the webinar section. It'll also be put up at All Things Oracle as well. And I will send you an email to tell you where you can download and where you can view this recording from. So we've got a short agenda here, more of a structure of how the webinar is going to go. So we're going to introduce Redgate Software to you in case you haven't heard of us. Then I'm going to hand over control of the mic and the screen to Patrick Barel to do the main presentation. And then there's the Q&A on Edition Based Redefinition. At the end of the webinar, there's going to be a demonstration of a new product by Redgate Software, which is called Source Control for Oracle. So please do hang around if you'd like to take a look at this new product. So I'm hoping quite a few of you have heard of Redgate now, particularly those of you who keep coming back to these webinars. And as always, I'd really like to thank you for doing so. Thank you for supporting the webinar program. Thank you for visiting allthingsoracle.com and checking out the articles that we've got there. I really hope that the work that I'm doing within this area is helping you out and helping you learn new skills, and also maybe going over some skills that you learned before, and the resources that we're producing are either updating them or acting as a nice refresher. But Redgate Software is actually a tools vendor, primarily with database development and administration. We provide tooling for Oracle, for SQL Server, and for .NET as well. We've got a nice little graphic here showing where our customers are located. So you can see we've got a lot of customers here in the US and Europe, but we do have customers across the world. The figure there, 585,844 users rely on Redgate Software. That obviously goes up every day. It's well over 600,000 now. You can see the exact figure actually if you go to our homepage. We're founded about 13 years ago, and since then, I mean, now 86% of the Fortune 100 companies use our tools, and we think this is a combination of two things really. That's firstly the quality of the products that we produce, but also there's the support that we provide to our customers. And that is our technical support, but it's also things like these webinars and some of the other education resources that we provide and some of the other education initiatives that we've got. And you can see there's a little graphic down at the bottom there in terms of what people think about our support. But we really are dedicated in making sure that we support everybody within the communities that use that are involved with the technology that we produce tooling for. On the Oracle side, we have a group of products here that fit within the deployment suite for Oracle. The main product you've probably heard of and probably maybe even used is Schema Compare for Oracle. The new product that we're going to see at the end of the session, if you are able to hang around, is Source Control for Oracle, which one thing we like to do with the name of our products is make it quite obvious what the products do. So Source Control for Oracle will enable you to connect your database to your source control system easily, and it's something that we're really, really excited about, and I hope you will hang around to take a look at it. We'll have Data Compare for Oracle as well, and those three products make up the deployment suite for Oracle. So within the Oracle space, Redgate's focus is on making deployment and comparing databases easier and faster. Please do take a look at the tools after this session at redgate.com/Oracle. Okay, so I think that's enough about Redgate, and I think everybody's probably dying to get started with the presentation. So I'm going to hand over now to Patrick Barel. There could be a little delay, so I do apologise, but I'm now going to pass the screen and the mic over to Patrick for the main presentation, which is Edition Based Redefinition. Okay, Patrick, so just pass the screen over to you. I did see it.
Yeah, I'm just seeing which monitor I want to show you. If it's okay, you can now see the Amis logo?
Absolutely, yes, I can see that, Patrick. So I shall leave. I'll mute my own mic, and I'll leave it with you now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Welcome everybody. This is an introduction to Edition Based Redefinition. It's not like it's a really deep dive, but it's quite an overview of what can be done with Edition Based Redefinition. A little bit about me. My name is Patrick Barel, not Barel, like James says. I've been working with Oracle since '97, working with PL/SQL since '99, playing with Apex a lot. I've been an ACE since 2011, and since last year I've also become an OCA, Oracle Certified Associate, which is the first step to becoming an OCP. You can read my articles on my own blog, blog.barsolutions.com, sometimes on the Amis blog, technology.amis.nl, and some articles on allthingsoracle.com. You can even download me, well, not me exactly, but stuff I've written. I've written a couple of plugins for Field SQL Developer, which can be downloaded from my website. And I've written a couple of plugins for Apex, which can be downloaded from apexplugin.com. You can also watch me. You can watch me live if you come to Kscope in New Orleans this year. I've been presenting at Kscope 11, Kscope 12, at OPP 2009 and 2010, and luckily I can do a presentation in New Orleans, Kscope 13. So if you're in the neighborhood, come join us. If you want to contact me, here are my contact details. I've got a lot of email addresses, I've got my Twitter account, I've got my Google Talk, I'm LinkedIn, and also got the ICQ account. Well, that's enough about me. Let's see, can I have this? Yeah. What we want is high availability of our application. We want them to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But it's not always possible to have them available. There are some part of the time the application has to be down, which is called planned downtime. What's supposed to come to the next one? There are downtimes we cannot know up front, which is, for example, hardware failure. It's hardware, it does fail sometimes. But there are possibilities to guard against these situations, which are, for instance, real application clusters, Oracle Data Guard, automatic storage management, but you have to have them in place before you before this stuff happens. So be prepared. Then there are, of course, also planned changes to maybe the hardware and maybe even the software. Most definitely there is going to be changes to the hardware, which are changes to the infrastructure, and you can use the options you had for protection against hardware failure to protect yourself against downtime when changing the infrastructure. Then there are changes to the database objects, which happens all the time. If you want to change the physical characteristics of the database objects, you still need, you probably have some downtime. If you reorganize, redefine the table, if you alter indexes, if you want to move a partition table, chances are you cannot do that without downtime. But then there is, of course, also changing the meaning of the objects, changing the tables, the layout, changing the code, what it does, what its signature is. And that's something you actually cannot guard against. And the only constant in this world we know is that there's always going to be change. Like I said, if you want to do an application upgrade, if you want to add some objects, that's no problem. If you want to add some packages or procedures or functions or add some tables, there's no problem. You can do that online. Nobody will will see any downtime during that upgrade. But if you want to drop columns, or in pre-11G, if you even if you added columns to tables, you would get invalid objects, packages, procedures, functions, etc., which are dependent on the tables. The table being changed would be invalidated and would need recompilation. In 11G, there's something called fine-grained dependency tracking. This means that if you add columns to tables, existing code will not be invalidated because it will not be affected by it. If you change code, that's also mostly a problem. If you have like a package, if you just change the implementation of your program, most of the time that wouldn't be causing a problem. That's the reason we're using packages. The package specification will stay the same, and just the package body will be changed. If, however, if you change the specification or the signature of the program, it will cause dependent objects to be invalidated. And if you drop a table, chances are, well, near 100% that the table is being used by some other object, a view, a package, or a procedure, and it will be invalidated. If the table wasn't used, why was there in the first place? So, when you do an application upgrade, when you're creating new objects, there's no problem. If you change existing objects, drop redundant objects, or convert or migrate, you're facing problems. And if you've resolved them, then you can resume the normal operation. Consider this as an example. If you want to restructure a highway, there's all cars going left and right on the road. If you want to do this restructuring, make it double the number of lanes, you don't want to close the entire road or highway. So what you do is you restrict, you limit the speed, restrict the lanes a bit, and start building the extra lanes. When you're done, when everything is done, you can lift the speed limit, change, make sure the cars go on the right tracks, and everything is in working order. This can take some time because you need the extra security measures. You don't have all the space needed to build the new highway. What if you can build a new highway in parallel? The old highway will keep working. The new one will be built in parallel. When it's done, you'll just open it up to the cars. Wait for the last car to have moved out of the old one, going left to right, and then have every car on that old highway go right to left. It'll probably be faster. You don't have to limit the speed for it. So it's probably better. And this is an analogy of how edition-based redefinition works. You got your application, and you just build the new application next to it in parallel. There are some objects that are editionable and some that are not editionable. Editionable objects, which can exist in multiple editions, are packages, procedures, functions, triggers, fields, types, and synonyms. Non-editionable are tables, materialized views, and DB links. If tables are non-editionable, how do we cope with the data? Click here. Let's see, the data in multiple editions. There's always a base edition code or a $base. It's always there. If you install Oracle 11g Release 2, you have the base edition in place. Let's see, let's create a table. A table is created non-edition, so it's in the database. We don't want to use the table directly anymore, so what we're doing is we create an editioning view on the table. The editioning view is a really simple view. It cannot do any joins, it cannot do any conversions. It can just do select some fields from the table. That's it. In the new edition, we would like to add some columns to the table. In this case, the customers table, and we create a different view with the same name as the one in the base edition, but we select different fields from the table. If we now insert data into the edition, into into the view, which gets inserted into the table. When we do that in one edition, we can select from the editioning view and see the data. If we execute the exact same select statement in the new edition, we get all the fields we filled up, but the new fields, street and house number in this case, have not been filled up. Or a $base, the base edition does not know of these fields, of the existence of these fields. And this is where cross-edition triggers come in. Cross-edition triggers make sure the data in which is inserted into a certain in a certain edition gets changed. New fields are being filled up. All fields are being filled up when you're using a forward or reverse edition trigger. So if you do some changes in the V1 in the new edition, the reverse edition trigger, reverse cross edition trigger, make sure fields that are not displayed in this edition get filled up in the parent edition. In this case, if I want to insert, if I insert the stuff into the customers table, I need to fill up the address with the street and the house number concatenated. Likewise, we got the forward cross-edition trigger. If something is inserted into, in this case, the base edition, we need to break that up into the new fields. So here we do, we break up the address and put the first part in the street and the second part in the house number. I don't need to think that's English. And to make sure everything is fixed, we do a simple update. You can also write an update statement yourself, but you've built the trigger, so why not use it? And now if we select from customers, same as before, but in the new edition, the data is also displayed thanks to the first edition triggers. If we are to insert stuff in the new edition, Oracle Parkway, and as we told the reverse first edition trigger, we need to get street and house number concatenated into address, into the address field, and that's done also automatically. I got a little demo prepared. Oh, this is I'm connecting to my own database. Okay, I've created a user, PBR-demo, and given it the correct rights. I'll send this script up to Jen, so you can download this demo script and try that yourself. As you can see, I set the edition to $R base. That's the way you change between editions. Alter session set edition. Then I created a table. Let's pause a bit. Then I create the editioning view, which is just a projection of some or all fields from the table. Now I can insert into this editioning view. And as you can see, select star from customers, it's put in there. Now I create a new edition. That's my parallel highway, like I said before. And I set my edition to V1. I'm now working in V1, in the V1 edition. I want to add the street to the customers table and the house number to the customers table. And I create my new edition view, which now displays street and house number instead of address. The other fields are the same. If I select from customers, you can see the street and number are empty because they were not filled up yet. In this new edition, I create the first edition triggers on the tables. First, I create the reverse cross edition trigger. What should happen if I insert records in the new edition, what should happen to make sure it shows up correctly in the old edition. As you can see, I'm not sure why exactly, but triggers should be created, disabled, and then enabled afterwards. Just best practices, I guess. If I now insert into my new edition view, you can see it's inserted correctly. Still nothing in the first record there. If I describe the table, you can see that the address and street and the number fields are all there. So it hasn't been removed. To create a forward cross-addition trigger, it's pretty much the same as the reverse cross-addition trigger, only the implementation is different. In this case, we need to break up the address into street and number. And also create it disabled and then enabled. Now I'm switching back to the base edition and do the simple update. Updates that ID is equals ID. Commit. This one is displaying all the data correctly because of the reverse cross-addition trigger. The address for Oracle has been updated correctly. Now I'm switching back to my new edition again, and if I now run the select, you can see that the fields for Amis have been filled correctly. That's it for that one. Now I want to, there. Next to data, there's also code in multiple editions. If, for instance, you have a procedure created in the Oracle or in the Aura $base edition, you can just, in the new edition, you can just create a completely different program for the same with the same name. It's definitely completely different. The version number is displayed differently. If I execute foo in my base edition, it's displaying from Aura $base. If I run exactly the same execute in the new edition, it's displaying the result from V1, the edition I'm running in. Even if you modify code in the old edition, which is not something, I think not something you would like to do, but that's exactly what edition-based redefinition is all about. This will not affect the code you created in the new edition. So if I run the procedure in the base edition, it says modified, but the procedure in the new edition, the V1 edition, has not been modified. If you drop procedures or functions or whatever from the base edition, they will not be dropped from the child edition, from the V1 edition. the drop is not cascading over editions. If the code has not changed and the code is being dropped in the base edition, then the code will not be available in the child edition. Code is not being copied, it's being inherited in new editions. A bit of a demo again, if you can find it. Log in again. The demos are always dropping the user and creating it again, so you can just run them every time you want to. Okay, so we've created the ABR demo user again. Altering the session to or $base again. Create a procedure foo which says from or $base. And if I execute it, it says from or $base. Ooh. Then I created a new edition. I set my edition to v1. I create a replace procedure, which now says from v1. And lo and behold, it says from v1. Now I alter my session back to the $base again. Execute it. It says from $base, which shows me that I'm in the right edition. I changed the procedure implementation, execute it again, and it says it shows me the modified output. When I changed my edition to v1, execute it, you can see it's not been changed with the change in the base edition. So what are the steps to take when you want to implement edition-based redefinition? First of all, you want to rename all your tables. Chances are you don't want to rewrite all your code, but you do want to have your tables renamed, like with T underscore in front of them, and then create additional views with the old names of the tables, so you can your code can be recompiled. You need to reroute the privileges from the tables to the additional views. You may need to recreate triggers, which are used to be on tables, which now have different names, which you need to recompile your field SQL, because it will be validated, and you may have to apply some VPT policies if you're using a little bit of a recap. Different users can use different versions of the tables using the additional views, and you need to have the forward and reverse cross addition triggers in place to make sure the data is consistent to everybody. Different users can also use different versions of the code, not only the tables but also the code code is not copied but inherited between editions. As long as you don't touch it, it will not be. There will be no code in the edition. If you drop it in the parent edition, it will be unavailable in the child edition. If you change it in the child edition, it will stay there, even if you drop the code in the parent edition. You need to do some work before you can make full use of EPR, but I think it's worth the investment of time. It can be a bit of mind-boggling, but it's very, very, very powerful. And that's about it. Now I'm going to check for questions. James.
Thank you, Patrick. That was very interesting. Thank you. And we've had some questions in already, which is great. So I'll put these questions to you now. I hope everybody enjoyed the session. And if you do have some questions or some areas that you'd like Patrick to expand a little bit on, please do put them in the questions panel now. If you can just give me a few seconds just to look over the questions before I start asking Patrick. And Patrick, I do apologise for mispronouncing your name.
That's no problem. It's kind of hard to pronounce a Dutch name when you're English.
Exactly, yes. I fell into the trap of pronouncing it as an English name.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question we have is from Onkar Nath. Thank you, Onkar. They're asking, since the names of both views are the same, how does Oracle identify both views as different? So this was something that you were talking about at the beginning of the session.
Yeah. The names of the editioning views are the same, but they're in different editions. And we used to have user object name as namespace, and now it's user edition object name as namespace. So in different editions you can have the same object name, in this case the view, edition name view, and Oracle will tell you're in edition A or in edition B, so I'm using this edition view or that edition view.
Thank you, Patrick. The next question from Yavor Nikolov, I hope that's correct. If we want to do a change, so this is again is in reference to something you were going over early on in the presentation, but if we want to do a change like, so customers, in brackets, name country, after change we want two tables views. So we want customers, and in brackets, name, country, ID, and then countries, in brackets, ID, country, name. So in the new edition, we want a view to join two tables. Could you sort of help explain that a little bit more?
You cannot do that in an edition view. The edition view is very simple. It can just project columns from a single table. I tried to do something similar to this, but it just doesn't work.
Thank you, Patrick. The next question we've got in from Vikram. Sorry, Vikram, I apologize, I can't pronounce your whole name. Could you please let us know, in a real-world scenario, do we need to change the edition using auto sessions on an application server?
No, The idea is you can choose the edition on the fly. If you let's see, if you have sessions running in, for example, the base edition or V1 edition, they can keep running, and you can on the database tell the current edition is now V2. So every new login, every new session will be automatically directed to V2. And you can kill the edition as soon as every last session using it has been terminated. So you do not have to do it at the alter session in real life. What you might do is have users select which edition they want to use. If they want to use new features or try out new features or test new features, you can have them select the edition they want to use after connecting to the database. Yeah.
Thanks, Patrick. So a couple of sort of general questions here regarding the webinar recording. So as always, I will send you an email about that afterwards. Hopefully I can get it up online within a day or so. If you check out redgate.com/oracle-webinars, you'll see it up there, but I will send you an email, so please do look out for that. I'll also tweet about it if you follow me at All Things Oracle. And in terms of the scripts, Patrick, am I right in thinking that you'll put these up on All Things Oracle?
I was thinking of sending you a zip, and then you can put them up.
Fantastic.
But
okay.
If people want to have it earlier, here's my contact details again.
Fantastic. So in which case, I'll put them up with the video, so they'll be on the Redgate website. They'll also be on All Things Oracle as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question from Anthony Massa. Thank you, Anthony. This is I know you'll like this question, Patrick. So why would you not just clone the database to test changes?
Why would you not clone? I'm thinking here. Because of data sizes, I'm used to having a development test acceptance production database, but the development is always a small portion of what's in production. Which means if I run a query, it can perform pretty quick on my development environment, but in production will not be as performant as expected. And using Edition Based Redefinition, you can just use production data and test your queries and play around with it. So why not just clone the database? Well, I think this is faster and it takes up less resources, and we finally get to develop in production. Yay!
Thanks, Patrick. And we've got a couple of sort of comments here from the audience, which is great. Thank you for contributing. So things like it could be reasons for space and for hardware maybe. So you could have different setups for production and development on that side of things. So thank you for a few comments that have also come in on that. The next question from Fred Lee. Thank you, Fred. So Fred's trying to enable EBR for a system. And if, for example, you have two packages on or a dollar base, P1 and P2, P1 has a dependency on P1. So without P1, P2 will not fully compile. If you make a new addition called V1 and compile P1 only, what happens when a function in P2 is being executed from the session V1? So basically, what if package dependency was the other way round in the same scenario? So how do you handle packages with dependencies on each other's that are on different versions?
Packages are, let's see, if P1 is being recompiled, and P2 has dependencies on P1, just so I can get this correctly. If you execute P2 in version 1, it'll get the new version, the P1, for edition V1. So it'll the P2 package is inherited into the new edition, and the P1 package is overwritten in the new edition. But when you execute code from the P2 package in the new edition, it'll resolve its dependencies in that edition. It will not go to the old edition. I hope that answers. If not, please drop me an email and I'll try to answer it better with an example.
Thanks, Patrick. Okay, so next question from Carol Pretsch is also, I hope we can answer a similar question from Lasse Jensen as well, so thank you both for your questions. So Patrick, do you have any advice or tips around performance? Are there any performance problems with EBR? And would there be a particular system, something that's so complex that you would not recommend using EBR?
Oracle says the performance will be exactly the same when you're using edition views as when you're querying directly against tables. That's what Oracle says. So don't blame me if it's not true.
So have you kind of sort of investigated any setups that maybe there would be a performance impact using EBR?
No, I have not investigated.
Okay. If anybody has kind of encountered anything like that, please do share it, particularly where I post the video on allthingsoracle.com. Maybe if you're going to test it out or investigate it further after this session, it'd be great to hear your feedback. Next question from Jamie Wood. Thank you, Jamie. How does Oracle handle package? Sorry. So Jamie, I'm hoping we answered that question earlier on. I do apologise that I didn't actually read the full question before I read it out. So next question from Mike Gangler. Thank you, Mike. So with additions, how does a web application, specifically a Java application, know which addition to connect to when connecting to the database?
The database has a default addition to which it will connect. So if you're not doing anything special, it will connect to whatever the edition you supplied. If you want a new version of your application to connect to a different edition, you have to code that somewhere after the connect. Right now, the session set edition equals whatever edition you want. So by default, it'll connect to the default edition specified somewhere in some initialization parameter. Not exactly which one.
Thank you, Patrick. So last couple of questions. So the next question from Ash Kumar. Thank you, Ash. Does Edition help in data migration as well?
I think, yeah, but I'm not sure what's exactly meant by data migration. If it's like the example I had with the address being split up into two fields, yeah, you can see how it helps. I'm not sure if there's any, if this is the correct example. So please let me know.
Great, thank you, Patrick. So we've got time for one more question. Sorry, Ash has actually just confirmed that he was talking about migrating test data to a production data. And on top of this, so Pavel's, are there any problems with an export-import addition objects from one database to another?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you. So, as I mentioned before, this will be published on All Things Oracle. The great thing, if you do access the video on allthingsoracle.com, you will be able to add comments underneath the video. So anything that Patrick has been unable to answer today, or you haven't had time to ask, rather, please do post it on allthingsoracle.com, and we'll be able to hopefully answer those questions there. So there's one last question, and this is from John C. So thank you, John. And is there a limit on the number of concurrent editions?
No. Well, no, there's no limit, but an edition can have only one child and one parent at this moment. Hopefully Oracle will change that, but so there's going to be a chain of editions, but you can have more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 editions in parallel. Don't think you want to do that, but you can.
Great, thank you, Patrick. Okay, I'm just going to take the screen back. Hopefully you've had a chance to jot down Patrick's contact details. If you'd like to get in contact with Patrick afterwards, certainly please do follow Patrick and myself on Twitter. I hope you've enjoyed the session today. As I mentioned before, we're going to move on to a demonstration of a new product called Source Control for Oracle. So if you're interested in looking at an easy way of connecting your database, specifically your schema objects, how you take them out of the database, put them into Source Control, please do hang around. I hope you're very interested in what I'm about to show you. I've got up on the screen here some webinars that are coming up. Please do register for these sessions if you're interested in. We've got two great presenters, Doug Burns, ACE Director, Oak Table, talking about SQL monitoring performance analysis, and Kenneth Poet-Vaughan, Oracle ACE. She's on the board of the Rocky Mountain Oracle User Group, and she's going to be talking about how developers and DBAs can work better together for the benefit of the business. As always, you can register for these sessions and get access to past webinars at redgate.com/oracle-webinars. Okay, so before I move on to this, I would just like to say thank you again for attending the main presentation. Thank you to Patrick. I hope you've enjoyed presenting. I hope everybody has enjoyed listening to this session. I hope it's been useful for you. So thank you again, and thank you very much again, Patrick.
Thanks.
Okay, so please bear with me as I just get things ready my end. But in a minute or so, we're going to get going with a demonstration of source control for Oracle. You might want to check out redgate.com/source-control-for-Oracle. So source control for Oracle, just with hyphens, whilst you're waiting for me to get things set up. Okay, I do apologise. Hopefully I'll be ready in a couple of minutes here. Okay, I do apologise for that. Thank you for hanging around. I'm remote into my desktop. I've got two monitors there, and rather annoyingly, the application was opening up on the other monitor, which wasn't showing in my window. So I had to kind of play around a little bit to actually get it in the screen. Okay. So as I just mentioned here, what we're looking at is a new product that we've developed to make it easier for you to put your database objects into source control. So to source control your schema objects. We're actually looking at the second beta version of this product, and we're due to launch the full product in early March. So this is a bit of a preview, so but I do hope that you'll find this very interesting. So I wanted to take you through actually getting things started with the tool, because I think one of the things that we do really well at Redgate is produce tooling that is very easy to use. So I am obviously risking a little bit here because this is a live demonstration. I'm hoping that everything's going to go well, but let's see. So I'm going to actually go through how you would get started with the product for the first time. Then what I'm going to try and simulate is two developers working on the same set of objects, the same set of schema objects. And if you imagine the second developer is new to the team, so they're going to want to get the changes. But I'll talk you through this as we go along. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new source control project. So what a project is, it's just a connection between the database and a source control repository. So the first thing I need to do is just connect. We've got, you can see the client that we've got here. I'm going to connect to the database, which is called Obstacle. You can probably see behind this interface I've got SQL Developer open as well, and actually what you're looking at there is the Obstacle database, the schemas in the user schemas in the Obstacle database. So we've added some nice functionality here, so I can test my connection before I actually go into it. Okay, I'm going to be using Subversion. You can also use Team Foundation Server as well. So if you're using one of these two systems, these are the version control systems that we're supporting with the first version of source control for Oracle. I'm going to use Subversion, and I've got a few things to make this demonstration a bit quicker here, as you've just seen. So this is the target folder in my repository. We're producing some support documents as well, which will help you set one up if you don't have one already. So I'm just going to navigate to this particular schema here, which is widget website _ James. Again, I want to sort of show how you would get started right from the beginning. So I haven't even got a folder set up for this. So I haven't linked to a folder. If you did, as you'll see later on in the demonstration, you can just click on the existing folder here. So I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this widget website app. So this is imagine we're producing an application here that's got a database behind it. Okay, so this is giving us a summary here. So we can see we're connected to the Obstacle database. It's linked to my repository here, so I've got the URL, and then the schema widget website James is then mapped to this folder on Subversion widget website app. And actually, if I bring up my Subversion repository here, we can see we've got the James database here, but we haven't got a folder in it. There's nothing in here at the moment. So let's create this project. Okay, so this is just refresh it when I open it. What Source Control for Oracle has done is straight away it has found that I've got 10 objects that I've been working that are in my schema. So these are the 10 objects in the widget James schema. There's nothing in Source Control yet because we haven't put anything into Source Control. But we can scroll down and actually have a look at what these objects are. We can look at the side-by-side diff here. As you can imagine, we're only looking at one side of it, so we're looking at the database because there is nothing in Source Control. So the first thing that this tool will solve for you is how do you get these objects into Source Control. If you think about how a Source Control system works, is it handles files, but what we're looking at here are database objects. So you may have your own process for doing this. You may have a workaround for trying to do this, but I'm guessing that doing this is generally going to be quite difficult for you, and it's also going to be error prone. It could be very time consuming. We've got all these objects here. I'm going to type a quick message in. And I'm going to check these in. So you can see that was very, very fast. If I click on done. We've got nothing else to check in. The important thing is though, if I actually go into my Subversion repository, let's just refresh that, we can see there's now a folder called Widget Website App, and all of those objects have been put in there in correct folders. We click in, for example, tables. The tool itself has not only created the table structure, it's also converted those objects into creation files, and so it's put them into Subversion. Okay, so that's checking a load of changes in. More about it if I'm doing some work. So please bear with me as I try and simulate this. So I've got SQL Developer open, got a number of scripts here which I'd like to say that I've written. I have cheated. I've used one of our other products, Schema Compare for Oracle, to generate these scripts for me. I'm going to run this particular script. And let's go back into source control and refresh that. So it picked up some new changes. So I've worked on, I've created a number of new objects here. Again, we can look down and we can have a look at exactly what that is. Okay, so what I would normally do, as you've just seen before, is check those new objects in. I'm going to create a new project here because what I want to try and do is simulate another user. So although I'm doing this within one interface, I'd like you to try and imagine that I'm using source control for Oracle, so I've got this application open on my machine, but my colleague Michael also has this application open on his machine. So I'm just going to create a project which is going to be linked to Michael's schema. Actually, if we go back to SQL Developer, we can see we've got a schema here, widget website Michael. If we open this schema up, it's actually got nothing in it. There are no tables, no indexes, packages, procedures. It's a totally empty schema. If you remember, the first thing that I did was I committed a load of objects to source control. So what I want to show you is we're going to set up everything for this new user, Michael. The great thing is, though, we're going to pull the changes out of source control. So it's very important. So we've got source control. So source control is acting as our central repository. It's our central database here. So we want to make sure that if we're putting changes in, we're putting them into the database via source control. Similarly, when a new member joins the team, we want them to be taking their objects, the new objects they're going to be working on, we want them to be taken out of source control. So there's always a record of what's going on. So let me set up this connection again. Again, I'm going to be connecting to obstacle. I'm going to use the same credentials that I used before. Okay, I should have clicked on the test button. Okay, there we go. So we're going to use exactly the same repository here. I know that works. But this time we're setting up this project for widget website Michael. So that's just the folder. That's the widget. The schema that we just looked at in SQL Developer. We've already created a folder, if you remember, in the first stage. So I'm going to link to this existing folder. Again, it's going to give us a summary. We could add another schema here if we wanted to, but let's create that project. So you can see from Michael's viewpoint, there are obviously 10 changes that he needs to get. These are the 10 changes that I checked into source control and the first side of things. The view is different, obviously. There's nothing in his database, as we've just seen that, but there are all of these objects in source control. So when I click on this button, the great thing is we're pulling these changes out of source control. We're going to apply these to the database. So let's do that. Okay, and we'll go back to the database. Let's click on here and let's refresh it. And now we can see all of those objects are within the database. So I hope you agree it's an extremely quick way of sharing new objects for new users, but more importantly, you're doing all of this via source control, so you have a record of what's happened. And actually, if we go into source control and we click on the history tab, we can see all of this. So we can see the first thing that I did was that I committed all of those objects to source control. We can see, again, we can scroll down and look at all those objects and look at the SQL within the side-by-side diff view. Okay, so I just want to do a couple more things because I've got a couple more scripts here. One thing that we haven't actually looked at is doing some work on an existing object. Let's go back into source control. Let's just refresh this. It will also refresh after a certain amount of time. Okay, so here we go. So we've got one object that Michael's been working on. The great thing about this is, though, this object is already in source control. So source control for Oracle has picked that up. And what we're looking at now is a side-by-side diff of this particular object. So what's in the database, what's on Michael's database, and then what's in source control. And we can see here that we've highlighted this particular area, so we've got a new function. And then Michael could check this in. So also I'm just writing very quick messages for the purpose of this demonstration, but let's check this object in. And we'll go back to the projects. I'll open up my project. Not only have I got 3 objects that I need to check in, but I've also got another object that I need to get. So this was the object that Michael was working on. And similarly, I can see a side-by-side diff. What's different between this object, what's different in source control, and what's different on my database. Okay, so I hope that was a kind of a good overview of what this product is. I'm just going to quickly flick back now to the slides. So as a summary, so the product that we've created, Source Control for Oracle, we've created this product because we want to make it easier for you to connect your database to Source Control so that you can share changes, you can keep a record of changes. More importantly, if anything goes wrong, you can go back and revert to a previous version. Makes sharing changes much easier with the team, improves communication, and hopefully enables your team to work better on projects. So the product Source Control for Oracle enables developers to make changes to the database. Source Control for Oracle then checks the database for changes, compares them to the latest Source Control revision. Developers can then review changes, they can get the latest updates, and they can check changes into Source Control. Source Control for Oracle, behind the scenes, what it's doing, it's scripting out these objects, and it's creating new revisions for you in Source Control. You can actually find this graphic on our website. If you go to redgate.com/Oracle, it'll be very easy for you to navigate to the Source Control for Oracle page. As I mentioned, what I was showing you there was a beta release. We're actually releasing the 3rd beta on Tuesday, 19th of February. Please do join the beta program if you'd like to be notified of that. You'll obviously be able to get access to that as soon as it's released. If you join up now, you will be able to get access to the current release and start using that product. Please do let us know how you get on with that. The first version is due in early March, and this is going to be an integral part of the deployment suite for Oracle. So far, the deployment suite for Oracle has focused on enabling you to compare and to deploy changes through your different environments. We felt that the area that was missing within that story was Source Control for Oracle, so enabling you to deploy, to work on changes, but to make sure that Source Control is at the heart of the development that you're doing. And more information can be found at redgate.com/Oracle. So we've got a couple of questions that have come in. It'd be great to sort of hear your thoughts. Please do ask some questions now. So I'm just scanning through the questions. So we've got a couple of questions here. So from Mark Kaiserman, thank you, Mark. Does source control for Oracle support continuous integration? So the great thing on that side of things is one of the other products within the deployment suite called Schema Compare for Oracle. You can run Schema Compare for Oracle from the command line. You can actually script out the objects from the command line, so you can use that for continuous integration. Next question from Vikram again. Sorry, Vikram, I did dodge pronounce your name earlier on in the session. I apologise again for doing so. Are there any features to track data changes for metadata and code list tables? Not currently. So at the moment, the product is very much focused on schema objects. However, if you do join the beta program, you will certainly find links to where you can share your feedback for how you would like us to develop this product going forward. So please do join the beta program, and please do send us your feedback on kind of the areas that you would like us to develop for this product. That obviously includes other source control systems. So again, at the moment we're supporting Subversion and TFS. If you use another system, please do let us know. The more people that tell us, the more work we'll do within those areas. Okay, so there are no more questions at the moment, which is great. So hopefully what I showed you then was clear. Oh, sorry, we do have one question. So this is from Alok Kumar. Thank you, Alok. Is it possible to revert back to previous versions once changes are done? Again, the product that you would use for that is our Schema Compare for Oracle product. So if you noticed when we're looking in SQL Developer, I had a script that was making changes to the database, so that script was generated by Schema Compare for Oracle. So you could use Schema Compare for Oracle to do a side-by-side diff between your development environment and say your test environment, or even from your test to pre-production. You can then use Schema Compare for Oracle to make those changes from one environment to another environment. Okay, so again, please do visit redgate.com/Oracle. From here, you can join the beta program. If you'd like to ask me any questions directly, maybe the easiest way probably to use the contact email address that you'll find at redgate.com/Oracle. But do follow me from my Twitter account at All Things Oracle. You'll certainly be able to get in touch with me there. Okay, so thank you very much for attending today's webinar. I hope the presentation was useful, and I hope the demonstration of source control for Oracle that you've just seen was also useful. So thank you again, and I hope you have a good day and a good evening, depending on where you are.